conversation hosted by C.J. Abernathy for South Dakota District 23 Senate 2020. A father, a Marine Corps combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, Purple Heart recipient, with a bachelor's degree in information technology software engineering. CJ is a podcast producer and host. Please check out our social media pages for more information. If you would like to join this broadcast, click the link in the description to join. Coffee and a conversation starts now. Have a good day or don't, the choice is always yours.
Morning. Oh, man. Here we are again on another glorious Monday. The world's still spinning, and I'm still here. You're still here. Hopefully. Hopefully you haven't been extrajudiciously murdered by law enforcement. But hey, if you weren't and you didn't get killed by law enforcement this weekend, hey, welcome to Monday. CJ, that's a low blow. That's a low blow, CJ. I have had the most entertaining weekend dealing with the Trumplican Delusion than you can possibly imagine. In fact, it's actually given me this like new outlook on life almost, to the point where you're like, do I blame these guys? Do I blame them for their faculty, their how do I say it? They don't have all their faculties. Do I blame them for being brainwashed by the two-party duopoly? Do I blame them? Because blaming them would be pretty easy. It'd be like, well, I mean, should we blame them? I don't really blame them when it comes to their delusions. I mean, well, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think we should actually blame people for their delusions, or do you think that we should actually not? I don't know. Good morning, OD Dub. I love your intro. I worked on it. It's not as poppy as the Internet Warlords intro, but for coffee and a conversation, it's strong. It hits you right there in the morning, first thing. So I'm not mad at it. I do all my own together. So real quick, we'll get right into the fun of the morning. Second here. Get into the news of the day. Trump rally. Oh, man, this has been my favorite thing to talk about. Favorite thing. Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump pissed at Trump campaign manager over his rally crowd size predictions. President's shock at the rows of empty seats in Tulsa. What is elite TikTok, and what has it got to do with Donald Trump? And watch Donald Trump holds campaign rally in Tulsa. Yeah, okay. So, first rally, listen. Okay. How do I break down a whole weekend of stupid? Well, let me start by saying this. If you want to join the broadcast, there's a link in the description, and yes, this time I remembered YouTube. There is a link over there, and you can join if you'd like. Just ask that you be presentable on camera. At least got to see your face. But the delusion of the Trump campaign, to me, is, how do I explain it? Man, there's got to be a way to explain it. That in a way that will. Oh, where would I find that? I know I have it here somewhere. Let's see if it's on Voodoo.com. Should be, maybe. No. Think. Maybe I can find it real quick while I while I try to man. Okay, maybe it's man. Okay, I guess I don't know. You guys ever seen the movie The Death of Stalin? If you haven't, I highly recommend it. It is one of the most hilarious movies in the history of movies. And in that movie, people are lined up and they're getting executed, shot in the face, like right in the right between the eyes. They're getting executed one by one by one. Nobody's moving. Everybody's just standing there getting executed. Um and every right before the bullet hits or right before it's their turn, their last words are "Long live Stalin." Pow, as they're being killed by Stalin. I had to separate the word Trumplican. I had to separate the word Trump and Republican because Republicans, as I've had over the conversation over the weekend, there have been Republicans who are like, "Listen, man, we get it. This guy's a joke," and I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, you're not that brainwashed Republican that for the president? Like what? Where you guys been?" "Well, we've been here, CJ. We're just buried out by these Trumplican guys." "Oh, okay. Well, I like the fact you're adopting my word. Thank you very much. That's what I need to know." So we separated out from a Republican to a Trumplican. A Trumplican is that person that will stand there and get shot in the face by a cop on the orders of Donald Trump. Say thank you for your service to the cop right before they pull the trigger and get out one last long live Trump. I highly encourage you to watch The Death of Stalin. Mr. Devin Saxon showed me that movie. Kind of like a parody of the 2018 Libertarian Party of South Dakota. Kind of an inside joke. So right. what a rally! What a joke! And they are going to constantly spin that it's someone else's fault. Yes, and that is what I'm. That is like the meat. You're already getting ahead of me, which is just fine. Because you're pretty cool, so we can allow that. Corrine, good morning. How you doing, ma'am? All right. So again, if you want to use your booger fingers in the comments, as you can see, I can put them on screen if they're relevant, if they're not inappropriate, and they're worth my time, then I'll throw them up here. If you want to join, there is a link in the description. It is in YouTube this time. It'll take you backstage. And if you are on camera and presentable and you want to join, you just got to turn your camera on. That way we can know that you're ready to go, be a part of the show. And if not, you'll just be sitting back there and there ain't nothing we can do. See, I got one here. Mohammed, listen, Mohammed, you got to turn your camera on if you want to join, buddy. I got to see that you're not some creeper. But, and then other than that, I'll just go ahead and I'll just show you out. See, this is why I love this new platform ability to do this. So, getting into the headlines today, though, obviously the big one being the Tulsa rally, and we've got it here easily. Well, more COVID-19. Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump pissed at campaign manager over his rally crowd size prediction. Source says. I don't know what this is here, but it's driving me nuts. Now, CNN fake news to the Trumplicans out there. This is their news kryptonite. This is something that yeah, he says he doesn't have a camera out there, Mohammed. Well, unfortunately, listen, we live in 2020, and if you don't have a camera, you can't. No harm, no foul. So let's see here. Let's go down to the story here just to get a brief description. Ivanka and Jared are pissed at campaign manager Brad Parscale over his prediction of a much larger crowd. Listen, it's going to be a huge crowd. It's going to be so big. It's going to be the biggest crowd ever. Than the one that turned out for Tulsa rally Saturday night. According to the Trump campaign source, quote, Jared and Ivanka are pissed at Brad overpromising on size crowd. A spokesperson for Kushner later Sunday said that it's false that they are upset. It's false that they are upset with Parcell, and Parcell declined to comment on this story. Listen, that's one of the things though that they do, and it's kind of stupid. They don't really, they'll say, oh well, he didn't comment. Well, obviously he didn't comment. So let's go over here to let's see if it's gonna give it to me this time. See, you know what? I'm gonna have to get a New York Times subscription just because of Adam Kokesh. Oh, well, good morning, Wax Bits. Waiting for my stream. Here you go. It's just a morning coffee and a conversation show. We just talk about the shit. I'm here for you. Yeah, see, this is one thing that bugs the crap out of me. They do this. Thank you for reading the Times. But we'll just take the headline again, as always. The president shocks at the row of seats inside. The campaign advisors believe disappointing attendance at the rally show genuine fear of the coronavirus and reality of President Trump's sliding poll numbers. Now, see, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I get it? Should I give him my email address? I'll give him producer@thefreedomline.com. That way, we'll just go with that, and we'll just type in a generic password here and give him that. No, I don't want to subscribe, but I will give you my email for there. Ooh, that's actually kind of cool, though. Not gonna lie. No thanks. Take me back to reading. All right. Okay. Well, we got it back. All right. So here we go. Oh, now they're gonna leave that little gray bar down there. Who cares? So this was actually really pathetic. Okay. For a man who's the greatest president in the history of the human species, it's really pathetic that he couldn't fill this arena. But hey. Tiffany says, just so you know for later, I think those subscription news channels will work in incognito. Huh. Interesting. Well, thanks for that bit of advice. I will definitely try that out. Appreciate that. So let's see here. To the story, it says President Trump and several staff members stood backstage and gazed at the empty Bank of Oklahoma Center in horror. Mr. Trump and Vice President Pence had canceled plans at the last minute to speak at an outdoor overflow rally that was mostly entirely empty, despite claims of nearly 1 million people registering for tickets to attend the event in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the president's false boast of never having an empty seat at one of his events. The president, who had been warned aboard Air Force One that the crowds at the arena were smaller than expected, was stunned, and he yelled at his aides backstage while looking at the endless rows of empty blue seats in the upper bowl of the stadium. According to 4 people familiar with what took place, Brad Parscale, the campaign manager who had put the event together, was not present. Mike Pence spoke just after 6:30 p.m. in Tulsa and then left the queue for Mr. Trump to come on. But there was a delay. Mr. Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff, Dan Scavino, peeked out from behind the back black curtains. I can't read today. To scan the fan-free seats on the top rows, Mr. Trump eventually entered the arena for a meandering performance in which he excoriated the fake news for reporting on health concerns before his event, used racial language to describe the coronavirus as the, quote, Kung flu, and spent more than 15 minutes explaining away an unflattering video clip of him gingerly descending a ramp after his commencement speech at West Point. By the end of the rally, Mr. Trump's mood had improved, advisors said, but after he left the stage, the fight seemed to have left him, at least temporarily, leaving the arena. He wasn't yelling. Instead, he was mostly muted. Wow, Trump is left speechless. So one of the things that with President Trump is again, I think we all have an understanding that this president is definitely something else. Greatest president in modern time? I don't know. He was waiting for his millions supporters to show up. Yes, Tiffany, you are right. He was thinking he was going to get there, and it would be this endless adulation of a 1,000,000-man march to support him. And really, as we're going to see here in the next New York Times story, you can't fake this. This is something that is just as easily provable. But Trump's Tulsa rally attended 6,200. The fire department says. Now the fire marshal doesn't care about your politic. He's not going to say, this is the greatest president of all time. Guess what? There was 1,000,000 people there. No, he's going to say exactly how many people walked into that building. And by the way, 6,200 isn't really even the number. They rounded up. Somehow, even the failing New York Times rounded the number up for Donald Trump. So the rally size fizzles. Rally fizzles at Confederate monuments. And Confederate monuments keep falling. It's Monday, and this is your politics tip sheet. 6,200, that was the total attendance at the Trump rally. On Saturday, according to the fire department, before the event, his campaign manager announced close to 1,000,000 signups. Oh, man. Let's see here. Hundreds, if not thousands of young people with no intentions of actually attending the rally, organized online to sign up for tickets as a prank, aiming to infiltrate turnout expectations. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wrote on Twitter that the Trump campaign, quote, just got rocked by teens on TikTok. Steve Schmidt, the Republican strategist turned Trump foe, tweeted, quote, the teens of America have struck a savage blow against Donald Trump. Oh, man. Trump and Mike Pence had planned to give warm-up speeches to the overflow crowd outside, but ultimately there was none. I'll tell you what, that is to me the most hilarious thing that anybody could possibly do. This actually makes me laugh. And because of the reaction from the Trumplican camp, and they've dismissed the TikTok claims, they've dismissed that this was actually, that's how this was done. I hope this is how it's done, but then the Trumplican reaction was, well, if you just charge them for tickets, and then you can use their own money against them. And you got to go, man, you guys are so desperate to sell access to the President of the United States. Where have I heard that that's a crime before? Oh, yeah, Joe Biden, the Ukraine scandal, Republicans, Democrats denying that it's a thing. Trump saying that this is a crime to sell access to the President of the United States. Huh. But here's the Trumplican answer. Well, we'll just charge tickets. Okay. You guys don't remember this stuff, do you? And that's where, again, I feel sorry for these people. Tiffany says it's 6,116 people. So they actually should have rounded down in their math. I was disappointed that my teens didn't reserve a seat. I asked them if they did. When they said no, my heart sank a little. Well, Tiffany, I won't tell you how to parent your kids, but to to the kids that did this, you are the true heroes of the weekend. You made it so I had the most fun time listening to the whining and the crying of the Trumplican people. It was beautiful. And so to the kids and the TikTokers and the what other K-poppers that went and did this, I give a cheers to you this morning, as that was the most hilarious thing that anybody could have done in a time where we need this joke. We need this joke. We needed it. I needed this joke. Excuse me. Coffee go down the wrong tube this morning, huh? All right. Corrine's got a comment here that says, can we all just admit that the people who really wanted to see him were all there? You know what? And that's what I've been trying to get to. And that's what I've been trying to say, is that if this exposed anything, is that the die-hard Trumplicans, the ones that would line up and get shot in the head and say long live Trump by a Trump police security force in a Stalin-esque like execution, they showed up in force. They showed up in force. The Republicans didn't show up for Donald Trump in Oklahoma. You know, that's, and in fact, there were more protesters on the outside of the building than there were Trumplicans on the inside. And you can find those numbers too as well. So what I'm trying to get at is that, yes, Corrine, you have it right. The die-hard Trumplican supporters came out and they gave their fullest force, their first rally back. The Trumplicans needed to show up. It was 1 million people going to show up. And Donald's like, of course we're going to do this. How many people have been able to conjure together 1 million people in history? You don't think Donald Trump's like, hell yeah, I want to do that? 1 million people one time, all there to worship me, stroke my ego, to line up to lick my boot, you know, fondle my ghibli bits. That is what he was hoping for. So again, to the TikTokers and the K-poppers, thank you. Thank you for giving me a hilarious weekend where my Facebook has been filled with Trumplicans whining and bitching and complaining, calling me a Democrat. I mean, that is my favorite thing. I know I have it from a Trumplican under their skin when I can look at them and go, oh, dude, you fucked up. I'm not a Democrat. And let me tell you why. First and foremost, I believe babies should be issued machine guns from the government at birth instead of birth certificates. Instead of birth certificates, the government should be giving every baby a machine gun. In the custody, obviously, the baby that's born right that day can't just get that machine gun. Obviously, their parent has to be the custodian of said machine gun. So, preferably a 50 caliber. And so when I say that and a Republican goes, "Wait, what? Huh? What? You want machine guns for babies?" And I go, "Yeah, cuz I'm not a Democrat." Why are wrong? How do they respond? They have no response. Because they can't use the "you liberal cuck socialist commie." They can't use it. It doesn't work against me. It's like, and they're like, "Oh, well, you're just a sensitive snowflake liberal Democrat." And it's like, okay, but I also believe that, we shouldn't be taking guns first and then going to court to get the due process. Well, that's just a myth. Donald Trump never said that. Donald Trump wouldn't have said that. Donald Trump wouldn't have said that. I love my Second Amendment too, brother. I got it tattooed on my body. I'm a patriot. And then you're just like, really? You moron. I do this all the time to Trumplicans, and they really hate this one. In fact, I love it when I get to do it live in front of everybody. I like taking guns first and then going to court to get the due process. Oh, look. Oh, 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 what's this? What's this? What's this? Oh, what is this?
You spoke about it, Mr. President, gun violence restraining orders. They're called, California actually has a version of this. And I think you, in your meeting with governors earlier this week, individually and as a group, we spoke about states taking steps. But the focus is to literally give families and give local law enforcement additional tools if an individual is reported to be a potential danger to themselves or others. Allow due process so that no one's rights are trampled, but the ability to go to court, obtain an order, and then collect not only the firearms, but any weapons in the possession
Or
of that
might
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system, because a lot of times, by the time you go to court, it takes so long to go to court to get the due process procedures. I like taking the guns early, like in this crazy man's case that just took place in Florida. He had a lot of firearms, they saw everything. To go to court would have taken a long time. So you could do exactly what you're saying, but take the guns first, go through due process second.
Oh no! The Trumplicans then
Do you
go,
think
oh
this-
no, that's fake news, CJ. That's fake news. No, that has been verified at every angle that you can possibly imagine from left and right sources. That video does not change whether you're watching the left media or the right media. In fact, that video is the single most buried Trumplican video in the history of videos. So you go, I don't like taking guns. I like to give machine guns to babies at birth because, if healthcare is a right, so's the Second Amendment. So let's give machine guns to babies and allow their parents to be the caretakers of not only the child, but the child's machine gun. And then what ends up happening is their head explodes. They have no comeback. I'm not the Democrat that they've. This is why I'm trying to get to my libertarian friends. Be strong. The Republicans will have a decent conversation with you if they're truly Republicans. The Trumplicans, which is a very small, very tiny minority in this country, the ones that would line up and get shot for Trump in the head, and while saying "Long live Trump," that is a very small minority. When you look at people who didn't vote, third parties, if you look at and Democrats, they make up a vast majority of people. They're not the silent majority as they like to think they are. That's what they tell themselves. Like you got to imagine like this. Listen, if you knew that you were supporting a president that has not only violated the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, the ninth, the 10th, all of those constitutional amendments, and keep in mind, I'm just going through the first 10. With evidence that if you want, I can put it on the screen. Hold on. Well, let's just go with how he most recently violated, the First Amendment. And this is another bit. That's what she said. Trump take away protesters, agitators, Oklahoma, Tulsa. I just gotta get I gotta get to the Trump Twitter about it. We'll go to Tulsa World, since this is a Tulsa story. I guess I gotta allow ads, huh? Son of a bitch. All right, we'll just let him have it. All right, so you want to watch his most recent violation of the First Amendment? All right, so here it is. Trump tweets at protesters, anarchists, agitators, looters, or lowlifes for Trump Tulsa rally, with the tweet actually saying, any protesters, anarchists, agitators, looters, or lowlifes who are going to Oklahoma, please understand you will not be treated like you have been in New York, Seattle, or Minneapolis. It will be a different scene. And it was. It was a completely different scene. There were more protesters outside the building than there were Trumplicans inside the building. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So, now why is that a violation of the First Amendment, CJ? Why is that a violation of the First Amendment? And for those of you that are retarded and need me to break it down for you, because again, you can't do it yourself because you're retarded. Any protesters. He starts with the word any protesters. Any protesters. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment or of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech. Any protesters is abridging your freedom of speech when he says this, when he alludes to lumping protesters in with agitators and looters and anarchists and lowlifes. If you're just protesting him, you're a lowlife. If you just have a concern or a reason to protest against his administration, you are lumped in with anarchists, agitators, looters, or lowlifes. Which, to the Trumplicans right now, you're going, yeah, they're all lowlifes. You get it? And then, but again, if these are the same motherfuckers that are like, yeah, go to your capitals and protest, the Democrats. It's like, you idiots. These people don't see how their hypocrisy is literally what's going to be their death knell. Yeah, Antifa's a terrorist group. What are you going to do? And we've already seen it. They're labeling in Democrat states. They're like, okay, you're going to label Antifa a hate group? We're going to label your militias. All you gun-clinging, Bible-loving Christians, you're going to be the next ones to go. And you're too stupid to see that. You're too inundated with brainwashing to actually understand that when you argue to take away somebody else's rights, you're arguing to have your own taken as well. Make no mistake about it. Well, you shouldn't have free speech to say or do this. Well, guess what? You're arguing not for them to lose their rights. You're arguing for you. You're just too stupid to know it. You're too stupid to realize it. Well, where else is he burnt? Where else is he violating your precious First Amendment, huh? Stupid Trumplican. President Trump says burning the flag will be a year in prison. Oh, look. A clear violation of the First Amendment. Trump says he wants to punish flag burning with a year in prison. Now, folks, I've been down the road with this topic. If there's anybody in this world that's been down the road on this topic, I can assure you it's this guy right here. And I assure you that the Constitution of the United States, under the First Amendment, says you have a right to peacefully protest, to use your free speech, to peacefully assemble. Now, burning the flag is protected by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has ruled not once, but twice, that flag burning is protected speech. So when he says he wants to lock up people that burn the magic sky cloth, it makes you go, but that's a violation of the First Amendment. That's false imprisonment, false arrest, and deprivation of rights under your color of law. So, why do you let him get away with this? So not only this morning have I shown you 3 examples of violation of this, and I didn't even get into bump stocks. So I showed you a violation of the second. I showed you 2 violations of the first. The National Guard in D.C., a violation of the third. Due process rights, 4th and 5th, violated, gone. I mean, think about it. And I really don't think that Trumplicans know what the Constitution actually is. In fact, I would encourage you to go to patriotbeef.com, pick up some beef jerky, and then pick up a pocket Constitution. And then actually sit in front of a camera like I've done many a mornings with a cup of coffee and a conversation and read the fucking thing. And once you don't want to be red pill away from the Republican Party, read the Constitution. This is your red pill from the Republican and the Democrat Party. If you're truly being honest about the government you're witnessing to, just read the Constitution. Seriously. All right. Kyle says, question. How would a person influence people to vote third party regardless of their affiliation? Curious how to boost Joe Jorgen's popularity to serious 100 to be serious 100%. Okay, so Kyle, great question. Unfortunately, this is the problem that I've seen with the Joe Jorgensen campaign, is that we're relying on the internet more than we should be. Unfortunately, without some huge media, without making the debates, which is why again I like the Take Back the Debates plan that Adam has put forward for veterans for Joe Jorgensen. I really think that that's a great start. But it starts by having Trump and Biden debating Joe Jorgensen. If we don't get that, there's zero chance that she'll be taken by seriously by either Republicans or Democrats. Note, I'm not saying Trumplicans, because Republicans might walk away from it. Now, there's going to be them diehard Joe Biden kid sniffers who are like, yeah, if he gets to sniff kids, so can we. And it's like, you guys are always going to vote blue no matter who. And then there's going to be those diehard Republicans that are a small minority that'll always vote red till they're dead. And then there's the Trumplicans that'll vote strictly for Trump. But there's that middle gap. And they're the more moderate conservatives, the more moderate liberals that are going to be, they're the ones that can sway the election. And that's kind of where you see in states that are like, how did a Democrat win in a red state? Well, that's because that conservative shift to the middle was absorbed by a third party that depleted their votes but didn't take enough from that liberal vote. So now that liberal came in just to squeak above that Republican. Third party candidates. That's why people are like, oh, a vote for Joe. Let's say you live in a blue state. A vote for Joe is a vote for Trump. Or you live in a red state. A vote for Joe is a vote for Biden. No, a vote for Joe is a vote for Joe. People are stupid with that too. I'm going to give my vote for the rest of my life to the person that earns it. The greater good, not the lesser evil. And to know that I see this, all I can do is say, okay, well, I know George Jorgensen's the better candidate. If you do your research and be honest about what you're seeing in the world and observing, you'll come to the same conclusions. I mean, I don't tell you have to vote for who who I'm voting for. If you want to vote Green Party, you want to vote Democrat, Republican, you vote for whoever your conscience says to. But just know that at some point you'll regret it. You'll be that guy that goes, I voted for Trump twice. He didn't do shit. In fact, between now and the time he gets out of office in 2025, if he makes it all the way to there, then what you're going to look at is going, man, that guy just tripled our national debt, started a war. I mean, you guys think that it's been bad so far with corona, phobia and all this bullshit. It's going to be really, really bad when he starts a war with a mega power like China or Russia. Like, yeah, for sure. But again, it's, we tried to, look at me. I'm like, hey, I'm voting for Dr. Joe Jorgensen. That's literally all I can do. I share her information. Even with libertarians on libertarian pages, I'm weeding out Trumplicans on those pages. They call themselves little L libertarians, but they're really voting for Trump, and they just want to be that. They want to have that libertarian shit talking ability, but they don't want to. They don't want to actually. They out themselves pretty much as Trumplicans in libertarian pages, and it's pretty hilarious. So, but as far as Joe Jorgensen goes, she needs to boost her own popularity. She needs to do things that gains media attention, and she needs to be able to debate. And when you hear her speak, I like to say it like this. I shared a post here, a really good one. Let me see if I can find it here. That again, it's all crickets from the Trump campaign. It's like they want to. It's like they want to stay ignorant, I guess. But again, just know that they don't have an answer to this shit. They really don't. It's all crickets. It says my candidate isn't an accused rapist, pedophile, racist, homophobic, or sexist. Bet you can't steal this post. And so far, it's been Rusty. Is the only one that has shared it. It's not saying who I'm talking about, but I bet you can't steal that post. And it just goes to show that this is where common sense is gonna say, well, we have a chance in 2020 to not only vote for the first woman for president, and really have a qualified. She's not Hillary Clinton murdering people, and all the shit that came with Hillary Clinton. And I always said I would vote for a woman if there was a woman that was more qualified than a man, for sure. And along comes Dr. Joe Jorgensen. It's pretty common sense for somebody who's like, do I keep voting for the same stupid, or do I just go, huh? I wait. I don't have to vote for the rapist, pedophile, racist, homophobic, or sexist accused, allegedly. For you Trumplicans that are like, he's only been accused. Well, Dr. Jorgensen has never been accused. Even. Well, that's just dirty deep state politics, CJ. It's hilarious. I absolutely find it hilarious. But yeah, that's my answer to your question. Long, drawn out, Kyle, that she needs to boost her own popularity. We, as her supporters, can only support. Tiffany again says, okay, in the risk of sounding real stupid, who is Joe? It sounds stupid, Tiffany. I just seen that name for the first time yesterday, and I'm so unhappy with the other two choices, I honestly wasn't going to even waste my time voting this year. Dr. Joe Jorgensen is a senior lecturer at Clemson University. She is the Libertarian nominee for President of the United States, and she is a hop, skip, and a jump better than Gary Johnson. You can go to Joe J 2020.
According to Wikipedia, 2020 JJ is a tiny near-Earth asteroid of the Apollo group that passed 7,000 kilometers from Earth on the 4th of May 2020.
Okay. Interesting. I learned something new today. There was a JJ. Okay. Joe J 2020 is I'll get the website up here so you can see it for yourself. Joe Jorgensen, Spike Cohen 2020. They are like I said, here's her page here. She's a senior lecturer in psychology at Clemson University. She holds a PhD in industrial organizational psychology. She has taught full-time since 2006. She graduated in 1979 from Baylor University with a bachelor's degree in psychology, and in 1980 from Southern Methodist University with an MBA. After earning her MBA, she put her education to work as a marketing representative for IBM, relocating to Greensville, South Carolina, not South Dakota, excuse me. She started her own software sales business, and as a software engineer, I'm like, I respect that. I respect that a lot. After taking a career sabbatical to raise her two children, she became a partner in a software duplication company, later taking over as president and sole owner. She funded a business consulting company in 2002 and continues working with select clients. She was the 1996 Libertarian vice presidential nominee. And again, I would highly just encourage you to go to joej2020.com. And if you can, of course, click that donate button. I got a little monthly donation going on as well. I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but Every little bit helps. So, yeah, that's who Dr. Jorgensen is, and I got to moderate a debate with her and Adam Kokesh and Judge Jim Gray, which was really freaking awesome. Probably the highlight of my political career up to that point, for sure. Not today, so. But that is Dr. Jo Jorgensen, and she is the therapist in the race, not the rapist in the race. And if you don't want to have a vote that you need to apologize for, she is your person. So I hope that kind of breaks down who she is there. I would love to rock the boat, some dinner and some that has been done before, rather than following the sheep narrative. Something different. Yes. Some dinner. Yeah, I got you. Something different. Yeah, no, if you eat the same shit over and over again, you're like, oh, this shit tastes like Republican. Oh, I just can't keep doing it. Like, what's in the other hand? Ew, Democrat. Ugh, I can't keep doing this. I need some new dinner. I get it. All right. Corrine says, the biggest issue I have with Joe, as compared to, say, Adam, is she's going to struggle with House and Senate. 4 more years of nothing getting done, then libertarians have to be in those positions first. And that's the thing, is that she's going to need that down ballot support. That's why, again, CJ Abernathy for District 23 Senate. I mean, you don't get a libertarian president unless you elect libertarians to your local office. So while you can be voting for Dr. Jo Jorgensen, if you live in, like, say, District 23 here in South Dakota and you're voting for Joe for president, you should be trying to contact my campaign to say, hey, CJ, I'm voting for Joe. Tell me about yourself. And then we can start with that connection. So if you're considering voting for Joe, you can then go and check out who your candidate is for your local district, for sure. Let me see here if they're up yet. lp.org. And then you can go down to... So yeah, if you go to the Libertarian Party page here, and you go to lp.org, and then down at the bottom, there's 2020 candidates. You can click that link right there, and then you can find your state, and you can go for there. Let's see if I'm actually on there now. Did they actually get me on the? They actually get me on the page yet? I went and filled out my. What do you call it? I filled out my list, or my, whatever you call it. Let's see here. Let's see. Ohio, Oklahoma. We're getting closer. South Dakota. CJ Abernathy. I'm on there. Yeah, buddy. Woohoo! So, yeah, if you go to lp.org, oh, look at that. We're right underneath Dr. Jorgensen, for sure, from South Carolina. Hey, that's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I don't have a website up, but hey, you guys can at least know it's me. And then there's, again, our chair and our vice chair on there. I would highly encourage other South Dakota district senator candidates to get themselves on here. And you can go and yeah, see, look, it even has my number and my email address. You can reach out to me directly. So, like I said, go to lp.org, find your candidate. If you're going to be supporting Joe, find out who's running in your district and whatnot. PA, do it. I don't know what you mean. You want me to look up Pennsylvania? I lost the page, but either way, definitely going to check her out. For sure, do that. Learn something new every day. Absolutely. So, let's see here. let's head back to our favorite news aggregate site. Let's just see if there's anything worth covering. I'm not going to vote for him. John Bolton calls Trump a danger to the Republic. See, John Bolton represents that Republican neocon vote at this point, and to be perfectly honest, that is what separates Republicans from Trumplicans. Is that mentality? Is that they're starting to realize that he is a threat to the Republic now? But listen. Does that translate out to them thinking, oh, well, if we don't vote red till we're dead, we're going to end up in this blue state president, Joe Biden, sniffing kids in the White House state? So they just go, well, I guess we're just going to keep voting for Donald Trump. But listen, this is where Republicans need to separate themselves and say, listen, get behind a third-party candidate. Dr. Joe Jorgensen is going to be the one that's not going to be the danger to the Republic. You know what I mean? It just, it'd be stupid to think that she'd be dangerous to the Republic. 5 things to watch this week: coronavirus, politics, and police. Northeast Philadelphia native brother of police captain killed in British attack. Wow. Coronavirus live updates. South Korea sees second wave. WHO reports record spike in global cases. Steve Hilton, weak, corrupt, mentally malfunctioning Biden would be a tragic setback for this country. So listen, this is where I'm trying to get at. It's like, nobody's saying this shit about Joe. They haven't even given her a look to say, well, I fucking think Trump is a retarded moron. I think Joe Biden is a retarded moron. Is there anybody else out there that's not a retarded moron? That's what I'm saying. It's like you just constantly see people like, this guy's an idiot. No, he's an idiot. He's an accused rapist. He's an accused rapist. It's like, at some point, you got to wake up. At some point, you got to say, hey, you know? All right, here's another one for you guys. NYPD officer suspended without pay following disturbing apparent chokehold incident. Gotta love your COVID-19 bullshit right off the bat, right? All right, well, let's go ahead and check out what they did.
Breaking news coming into the Situation Room right now. New York has just suspended a police officer after an apparent chokehold incident. Let's go straight to CNN's Evan McMorris-Santoro. He's in New York City for us. Evan, what are you learning?
Hi, Wolf. This is another one of those incidents where one of these viral videos showing an incident where a police officer interacts with a person has caused another conversation about police tactics here in New York City. Now, this all began about 8:45 this morning at Far Rockaway Beach in Queens on the boardwalk there. We have some video, I believe, playing where you'll see that the police were interacted with some people from the public there for a little while, eventually ending in an arrest. And that arrest resulted in claims by bystanders and in that video that there was a chokehold. Now, chokeholds are now banned under recently passed police reforms here in New York City. And instantly, very, very swiftly, according to authorities, this case moved the Internal Affairs Division of the New York Police Department and led to the officer involved being suspended without pay while that investigation goes on. So another story about a police interaction caught on video now leading to a very swift action by the New York Police Department to have this particular officer suspended during the investigation.
Let's go ahead and look at this one more time to see if you see a chokehold. I'd like to get that other camera angle, to be honest.
Breaking news coming into the Situation Room.
No.
Action caught on video now leading to a very swift action by the New York Police Department to have this particular officer suspended during the investigation. A very swift action by the New York. So another officer involved being suspended. This case moved very swiftly, according to authorities. this case moved the Internal Affairs.
I don't see a good angle on that. Like, if I'm instant replaying that, I don't see the angle on it. But who knows? Let's see if they got a picture of it. Yeah, they don't even have a picture of it. I'd like to see the other angle, though, for sure. So, let's see here. Sad news for the day of wrestling fans. WWE fans reacting to Undertaker's shocking retirement announcement. Oh, that's sad. As the unspoken Undertaker, I assure you. From a unspoken Undertaker to the OG Undertaker. Rest in peace. What else? 2 killed and 12 injured in North Carolina shooting at block party. We've seen an increase in shootings between what's it called? Between Chicago, what's it called? Chicago, in Minneapolis, and now reporting here in North Carolina. We're seeing more shootings across the country. And to be honest, what did you expect? Yeah, Kyle here about that chokehold story. I believe didn't see much of anything. Like I said, that's like I need to see the other angle, not just what CNN's putting there. Okay, let's see here. Minority officers allege only white guards allowed with Derek Chauvin. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting update here. Minnesota corrections officer alleged only white guards are allowed to contact with Derek Chauvin. When Derek Chauvin, former Minneapolis police officer, accused of murder of George Floyd, arrived at Ramsey County Jail, all minority correction officers were ordered to avoid him. So even the department's kind of showing signs that, hey, maybe, just maybe, we might have a minority officer try to attack this man. Interesting. Interesting analysis there. We could dive into if we'd like. Let's see. In the filing, acquired by the Star Tribune, 8 minority officers at the jail say that they were forced to separate to a separate floor after Chauvin was booked, with a supervisor telling them that their race made them a potential, quote, liability around the ex-cop. Quote, I understood that the decision to segregate us had been made because we could not be trusted to carry out our work responsibilities professionally around the high-profile inmate solely because of the color of our skin, wrote a black acting sergeant. Quote, I am not aware of a similar situation where white officers were segregated from an inmate. Wow. Woo, that is a hell of a story for sure. For sure. Interesting take. We'll just leave it at that. All right, let's go to some world news here real quick before we wrap this up for the day. Threat from North Korea today is absolutely greater, Bolton says. Yeah. China revealed some details of Hong Kong's national security law, and it may be as bad as critics fear. Yeah, rare solar eclipse viewed across the globe. That actually, I did see a few of these videos rolling around. Let's see if it actually gets a good. Yeah, see, just a really cool event. If you guys missed it, there was a bunch of channels that were doing this all weekend, showing the eclipse. The Ring of Fire eclipse, as it was called in some cases. Well, there's masks. Yeah, they say those don't work, but I mean, what else are you going to use? I mean, you're either going to see it or you don't. And if you're willing to risk a little eye damage, so be it. But again, yeah, just a cool little thing for your for your viewing pleasure, you know. Not that we all haven't seen an eclipse before, but you know, hey, I've only seen like one in my life, so all right. let's see here. Business, man. Technology, yeah. I don't know. So, with that being said, you guys, I mean, it is what it is. I'm going to encourage you guys real quick before I go. If you haven't already, please go to patreon.com/internet warlords. That is where I will be moving this show to after the 2020 rigged election here. And then once that's over and done with, you guys won't be able to watch any of this live because it'll all be on Patreon. So if you want to be a little warlord for $5 on the strike team for 10, or you want to call yourself an internet warlord, then $20 a month, and all the benefits and perks are listed below. And again, it's just a way to really separate those that are versus those that are like, hey, I support you, CJ. And yeah, other than that, I didn't see anybody other than that one guy that came over from YouTube with no camera. I don't get why they do that. Oh, wait, did I miss anything? Before I go. I think I had one more. I think we covered Officer Karen. Yeah. Where did it go? Oh, man. Here we go. This is I couldn't get this one without actually getting this one here. So last story for the day: Brett Favre compares Colin Kaepernick to Pat Tillman. Quote: I assume hero status will be stamped. Again, this is if you want to know. Oh man. Okay. So again, I preface every time I talk about the NFL with, I haven't watched the NFL in about 4 or 5 seasons. I think this will be the 5th season that I haven't watched. And it's not because of Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the special song and disrespecting the Magic Sky Cloth. It's not that. It's more personal for me. But is he a hero? To utilize your free speech, it costs you everything. As a veteran, I would hope that if we would put your rights above your profession. If it costs you your profession, so be it. Is he a hero, like a war hero? No. Would he go down as a hero? Yeah, in his own right, for sure. I think it's easy to say that if you're willing to sacrifice everything you have in this world if we would have just listened to Colin Kaepernick and when he started this, we wouldn't would we really be where we are today? If like Kanye West, he got to go and talk to Donald Trump about the problems that this country's facing and the oppression, instead of being met with a barrage of we already covered this last week, what disrespect to the flag is, Title 4, Section 8, USC. Or Title 4 USC 8 USC, however you say it. We covered this already. What he did is not under the title code for disrespect to the flag. But yet, there was many things that Trumplicans do that are on that list, including worshiping the sky cloth being pulled out and held horizontal to the deck. That is, how they get away with that is beyond me. For years, my whole life, I just remember seeing a big flag being stretched out on the field and going, oh, that's so cool. Well, come to find out, that's disrespect to the flag actually written into law. So it just goes to show that there's a lot of ignorance out there. So yes, will history eventually remember him as a hero? A hero. A war hero? He is not. He never has participated in any combat. To my knowledge, he never served in the military. Yeah, no, he didn't. But again, at the end of the day, a war hero, he is not a hero in his own right. Certainly, I'd give him that. When you are somebody that is known, whether it's hated or loved, and you utilize your free speech in this manner peacefully, and you lose it all, yeah, yeah, I think at some point you'll be one of those great martyrs of free speech in history, for sure. So I will, and I'll preface this: if he gets signed to the Seattle Seahawks, which Russell Wilson has said, hey, he should be playing, and he should come play for us. You know, Pete Carroll saying, yeah, he needs another chance. I hope he'll realize the retribution that would come from that, even taking a lower pay if he had to. Say, hey, I can go play San Francisco not once but twice, and go to San Francisco with Seattle every year. Oh yeah, sign me up for sure. Guaranteed to play in San Francisco. I just think that would be like a great revenge story. So yeah, my pledge: if he signs with the Seattle Seahawks, I will watch a Seahawks game and start tuning in on Sundays and get a little entertainment from this shit show. Away from this shit show, and try to appreciate the sport for what it is. And hopefully Kaepernick will be in the blue and green and gray soon enough. So, calling Kaepernick, he's a hero. So, I mean, again, saying the words, he's a hero. Well, yeah, in his own right, for sure. Is it going to make me, people are going to be, I mean, for sure, Trumplicans are going to struggle with it. Did he save a kitten from a tree? No, but did he try to warn about the injustices that are being faced by minorities and African Americans in this country? Sure, absolutely. If he would have tweaked the message to say everybody, he may have gained a few more supporters. But hey, I'm not here to tell him how to free speech, and neither should you. And yeah, it cost him his job, but and now look at where we're at now. He's actually right. But diehard Trumplicans won't admit that. But he was actually right. So, let's see here. Oh, what a day. Well, I don't see anything else that's worth covering here in the news stories for today. Adam versus the Man at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. I'll be opening up the digital studio of Freedom here in about 5 minutes. You want to come hang out backstage for Adam versus the Man, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, I just play DJ CJ on 105.3 Radio Freedom Network. And I just scratch them hits while I, do my other stuff. So, man, I feel like we're in for a long day of Trumplican race, or Trumplican retarded conversation here. There's nothing you can do. But hey, again, I appreciate it. It's hilarious. It just gives me more ammunition. Keeps me going. And again, like I said, if you want to help out, I got my internetwarlords.live link. If you feel like you got some entertainment out of this and you just want to leave a tip, that's internetwarlords.live. And you can help support me in that way too. So, all right, guys, have a good day or don't. The choice is always yours. The coffee is cold. The day is long. Let's do this thing. Woo!